Hey there, everybody. Ellyn Marsh here with Kevin and Michael from the Pod De Deux Women of Broadway Summer Series. We're here this summer to celebrate the big steps taken in our industry. The fact that 9 different women choreographed or were slated to choreograph 10 different musicals this year is huge and deserves celebration. That step has led to changes in the foundation to theater, putting women at the forefront of choreography in our industry, which is amazing. But there's obviously something else missing. People, specifically women of color, are missing.
So while we've gotten to the peak of this major hill in Broadway history, there's still very clearly a mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's true that we're all in this together. And while we are celebrating women, it doesn't go unnoticed that this industry is specifically missing artists, choreographers, and people of color.
So hopefully our podcast can open this dialogue further, and especially some of the projects coming up on Pod De Deux Podcast later this summer and fall, focusing on the racial injustices in the dance world. And while we're on the subject of celebrating women in theater, let's just get some more women of color in there.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for loving dance and theater. And thanks for supporting us. And now, the Pod De Deux Podcast.
Okay. I love being right. Oh,
I know you do. I know you do.
Okay.
Sonya Tayeh.
All right. Welcome back to the Pod De Deux Podcast. I am your host, Michael Mahaney, alongside 2 of Broadway's brightest and best, Ellyn Marie Marsh and Kevin Michael Raponi. There they are now. Hi guys.
Hi.
Oh, it's Kevin's turn to talk.
We are back again with mini-series finale episode in our summer series, The Women of Broadway. And this week, we've got another badass female choreographer from Broadway's unprecedented 2019-2020 season for you to hear from and celebrate.
That's right. This week we're chatting with Sonya Tayeh. And what's super cool about Sonya is that, yes, she is one of the 9 female choreographers who choreographed or who were slated to choreograph on Broadway this year. The topic we've been focusing on all season, but Sonya was set to actually choreograph 2 musicals. One, the amazing Moulin Rouge, which has been a huge hit after opening last summer, and the off-Broadway transfer of Sing Street, which was supposed to open this past spring uptown.
Yep, that's right. Sonya is a totally badass choreographer. You might know her name also not just from Broadway and those 2 specific shows that Ellyn just mentioned, but you might know her because she is the Emmy-nominated choreographer from So You Think You Can Dance, Fox's Rent Live, which we're going to talk about later because I have some questions about that, and so many more things.
Now, if you haven't been keeping up with us this season, we have been on a quest to interview as many of those 9 female choreographers who choreographed or who were slated to choreograph 10 of Broadway's musicals this year. And since there isn't a Tony Awards ceremony this summer due to the COVID-19 crisis, we're celebrating their work by bringing them on the podcast to chat with us.
That is right. So why don't we start right now? Let's get into it. Without any further ado, our guest for today, please warmly welcome Moulin Rouge and Sing Street choreographer, Sonya Tayeh. There she is, coming into the room now. There she is. Hey, welcome. Hi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Sonya Tayeh is a New York City-based choreographer and director. Since paving her professional career, her work has been characterized as a blend of powerful versatility and theatrical range. Specifically this year, she is one of the 9 women who choreographed or were slated to choreograph on Broadway. But, like we said, she's the only one who actually choreographed 2 Broadway musicals.
Amazing. That's right. Sonya made her Broadway choreographic debut last summer when Moulin Rouge opened at the Hirschfeld Theater, and she this past spring was slated to bring her musical Sing Street, which had a successful run at the Downtown New York Theater Workshop uptown to Broadway's Lyceum Theater.
That's right. Sonya has also choreographed pieces for the Fall for Dance Festival at City Center, The Lucky Ones at Ars Nova, Kung Fu at the Signature, which she won some awards for, so many other projects and so many companies and venues like the Music Center in LA, New York Live Arts, Jacob's Pillow, Martha Graham Dance Company, The Joyce. She's also directed and choreographed for world-renowned musical artists like Miley Cyrus, Florence and the Machine, and Kylie Minogue. She also, which I mentioned a few seconds ago, choreographed Fox's Rent Live, which was an incredible live broadcast musical that we're going to talk about because I have some very interesting questions about that. But she has gleaned many accolades from her versatile work, including 2 Emmy nominations for Fox's So You Think You Can Dance, 2 Drama Desk nominations, an Obie Award, an Outer Critics Circle Award, a Drama Desk win this year for Moulin Rouge, 2 Lucille Luttel Awards for Outstanding Choreography, and most definitely at some point in time, she will be a Tony Award nomination or 75. Please welcome Sonya Tayeh to the podcast.
Yay.
Oh man, whoa.
Trip down memory lane.
Isn't it awesome to hear those great things about yourself?
Drowning in gratitude, honestly.
Well, we are also drowning in gratitude for
Yes.
you being with us today.
Thank you.
This has been a really awesome series. We've, if you haven't been able to listen to the episodes that are out yet, we've interviewed with you. We'll have interviewed 6 of the 9 women this year that choreographed on Broadway. 9 of 10 musicals were to be choreographed or were choreographed by women, which is something that's never happened before. And
Hallelujah.
Praise him.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So on that, just, tell us a little bit about what it was like to bring 2 musicals to Broadway this year. I mean, Sing Street, obviously, that's something that we can talk a little bit about too, about, working on that show downtown, and then hopefully it will come to Broadway when things come back, but, having to work on something and then have it stop it sort of in its tracks. But what was it like to know that you were, have this very rare opportunity to choreograph 2 Broadway musicals in one season?
Well, it was a beautiful roller coaster, and I start with being terrified and full of anxiety, and then I settle for a second and take a breath and put the will and the belief system inside of me, knowing I can do this, and try to take away the scope of the pressure and just focus on the project and make sure it's coming through as sincere as possible, so the expectations or the pressure doesn't take over my approach in the process, if that makes sense, because I find that that's where you're the most insincere. So I just focus on being really present and feeling an immense amount of gratitude, knowing that they're 2 very, very different shows. So that the most excited moment was knowing that this excess and this simplicity, both sides of my sensibilities, will be down the street from each other. It's on the same block. Was
great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
really, I mean, I get speechless and all teary-eyed about it because it's an incredible experience for me.
I love that. Also, tell us about creating movement for Moulin Rouge, because when I grow up, I want to be Robin Herder.
Yeah.
So
We all do.
I think I worked with her in 2015 and I've never been the same. She's incredible.
We should make t-shirts that say, when I grow up, I want to be Robin Herder.
Me and a couple of my friends, we meet, before COVID, we meet a couple times a month, and we call it the Robin Herder fan club meeting.
Oh my God.
And it's just the best. So obviously the musical is inspired by the film. So how much of that did you let it play into your approach for the choreography? And how did you go about making it your own?
I repeat this because it's really important, but when I'm asked this question, just so everyone knows it's not scripted, it's just a fact, is that the excess in the movie is so incredibly inspiring. My innate way of moving is excessive. It's large, it's athletic, it's physically challenging on the body, and that's just how I immediately approach choreography. So the excess was so exciting for me to know that was there, and that the film was begging to be on a stage. I always thought that, even when it first came out. I was like, this needs to be a live show. It thrives on hyper physicality, and my inspiration for the choreography was to attempt to try to embody the momentum the cameras have in the movie onto the physical body. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
the way the rail cams go, the steady cams, the cuts, the swift cuts, and the adrenaline that you feel when you watch the movie, I was trying very hard to bring that feeling onto a live stage. So that was my approach. And we have an excellent company that
Yeah, you do.
explodes.
Just a couple of the best dancers on Broadway. Just a couple of them.
I mean, it was the hardest part was to make sure that the movement was driving the story, because they are all so capable of doing everything. It was such an incredible challenge for me to keep myself on a level of like, I need to keep my standard high for them. I need to provide for them and provide for an ensemble that what I've always wished to see, just for me, is an ensemble that is utilized this much and that they celebrate who they are as artists. All of that dance training is very much, and all of the experience of fire and passion is very much celebrated on the Moulin Rouge stage. And that's why I love it so much. That you're watching dance without words for a long period of time and you're still following the story is because of them and because of their fire. I'm so in love with them. I really am.
I just want to have a follow-up question on Moulin Rouge. I think that's so awesome what you said. And this might be a controversial question, but this is something I've heard people in the dance community ask about, or the Broadway community ask about. So you talk, no, it's good. I think it's cool to address this.
Yeah.
You talk about your choreography being excess and that sort of aspect of you. And you also talk about this cinematic aspect of your choreography, especially with Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Now, your choreography is incredible and in a sense excessive, and you allow your dancers to do this incredibly athletic movement. So when you were designing the choreography and thinking about it for a Broadway show, did you think about the idea that these people were going to be doing it 8 times a week, sort of a thing? Was that something that you built in when you were designing it, or is that something that isn't something that comes across? I know that's sort of like a weird question.
No, that's a great question.
People talk about that.
I come from being inspired and being driven by the likes of Martha Graham, Twyla Tharp, Ina Bausch, women who push the body, women who set a standard of artistic value really, really high. So yes and no to your question in terms of taking it into consideration. I believe in taking care of your body. So does the ensemble, the company of Moulin Rouge. Eating well. So does the company of Moulin Rouge. And because of the palette of the show, first of all, for me, I felt like the film onto the stage begged for that excess. So there's that. So I needed to honor that. And also not denying who I am in a space, regardless of the rules and regulations other people use, or knowing that they're performing it 8 times a week. Of course, we discussed it, but we didn't let that stop us. And for that, it takes a certain type of person to want to audition for the show,
Right. Totally.
And I love that because it's mind, body, soul the entire time. It's acting, singing, dancing, and the want and the desire of that has to be high. It has to. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
totally. I mean, and you probably do an exploration of that throughout your audition process too, I imagine.
Absolutely. We it's an extensive audition process. But Jerome Robbins, I'm not comparing myself to them. I focus on the discipline and the work. That's what I look at, not just the body of work, the discipline behind it and their process.
Yeah.
None of them sacrificed their voice. And that's why I continue to push myself to hold on to my voice.
That's cool.
But I think that's why you stand out, and I think that's why your choreography and your dancers specifically, like, you know, I follow them all on Instagram. You know, Max Clayton is like, you know, he's younger than me, but he's a hero. But like, you watch these people, and you're in awe, and they never complain. They never go on social media and they go, ugh, another show, or ugh, I'm tired, or no, they do it. They just get it done. And I think that's something that you instilled in your dancers, and I think that's amazing.
It's beautiful. And I think exactly what you said, and I hope you feel this from the Broadway community, but I think you've set that standard and that bar so high that now Broadway kids are like, well, I hope one day I get to be in a Sonya Tayeh show, you know, so it's like, you know, a next level. And you have, to me, Moulin Rouge was the only show I saw last year, because, you know, when you're in a show, it's hard to see another show. Yeah. But I needed that to be a priority. And when you see those dancers, the next generation is looking to those dancers and your style, because you upped it all. I mean, you really did. So
yeah, you did.
I feel like I just feel like if I'm going to give my life to this, I've sacrificed a lot, as we all have. There's things I'll never have in my life because this is my first love. That's just that's my story. And I find that the discipline sometimes is lacking. I always go back to the history of how things started and what it took. The study, the dissecting, the analyzing, the obsessing, the drive is just what drives me. That doesn't mean it to make the movement difficult. It just means to be sincere about your approach in every project. Sincerity. What you're seeing on that stage is the utmost sincerity from the depths of my soul. Truly, madly, deeply. I worked really hard on that show.
It really does come across. It comes across.
Absolutely.
You watch that show and you're like, you gave your heart and soul, and those performers are giving their heart and soul.
Day.
So you could see it. You see it.
Yeah, you really do.
Thank you.
I feel like we could just do a podcast talking about Moulin Rouge, but I'm gonna change topics to Sing Street.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of the movie. It was a hit downtown at the New York Theater Workshop. So if you could just tell our listeners who might not have had a chance to see it a little bit about the show, and what did it mean to you to hear that it was being, you know, brought from downtown to uptown to Broadway? What did that mean to you to take it from, you know, the smaller venue to then, you know, uptown?
So I love the movie as well. It was a very interesting process to not have an out of town, to open right in New York is always tricky, sticky, scary. And to know immediately after we opened that it's moving is really overwhelming, because we had many obstacles in our way. So what the beautiful, me and Rebecca always talk about the canvas that we saw at New York Theater Workshop was screaming for so much more. And I respect our realization of that it needed a lot more work. It needed to be loved more and needed to be turned over. And we held together as a company and we made a completely different show. It is a completely different show. But you do that when you go out of town. You have that much time to do that when you go out of town. So for us to have that will and drive, like we've been talking about, the discipline and will and drive, that it's possible if we just hold together and push ourselves and focus on what the piece needs and what the piece is craving and what the piece deserves, was so fulfilling. So after New York Theater Workshop and during, we were doing lots of new pre-production, many hours of new to re-prepare. So, and it's such a beautiful show. It's about these kids and this system that is broken, and that they're oppressed. They don't have much, and all they have are their, I can't speak right now. They focus on their imaginations and their dreams, and how incredible is that to watch? No matter what situation you're in, that doesn't mean that it has to be your future. And to be able to push for that is so, I think, important now as well, in the world that we're living in now. That's why I feel so honored that the producers are holding so tight to making this happen for when the world opens back up to watch theater, because it's a really, really beautiful show about obstacle after obstacle. And this boy that sees this girl, this boy that's losing everything, has to go to a new rough school, looks across the street, sees this girl smoking an unlit cigarette. He makes the courage to go up to her and fib that he's in a band so she can be in the music video. Right. I mean, it's just like bravery after bravery, dream after dream realized. And it's about the future. And if you hold on to your imagination and you hold on to your will, I really believe that anything is possible. I truly, madly, deeply believe that. And that's why I said yes to Sing Street.
That's
And we're going to need that so much too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to need Sing Street. We're
yeah.
going to need it.
Incredible. And it's it has so much simplicity and soulfulness and theatricality to it, but it all comes from the kids making something out of nothing. And that's what's so beautiful about it.
It's a youthful cast. It really is a youthful cast. That's got to be so exciting for them. What was it like to hear that, to have the announcement about the move uptown?
I mean, most of them have never been on Broadway. So
yeah,
crying, jumping, screaming, running around. It was so exciting. They're so the artistry that these youthful dreamers carry is so inspiring for me.
Yeah. That's so magical. That's and it. Yeah.
And then I can't imagine them working with you. I'm sure that they're already like, oh my God, I'm working with Sonya. And then they go to Broadway and then they're like, oh my God, I'm going to Broadway. Like their life is pretty legit, I would have to say.
They're the sweetest, and they work so hard, and we have a great, very soulful relationship with them. They're remarkable.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we take a quick break, we're going to play our annual is not the right word. We don't do this every year. We do this all the time. Our game of hot take. It's
legendary game of
Sonya. Legendary game of Sonya's hot take. No. This one is, there's no right answer to this one. It's just the first answer that comes to your mind. It's just a few. Kevin put together this list this week, which is good because mine was getting boring. So this is.
I was trying to think of like some things that we hadn't done yet. So
it's very good. So I'll give you a this or a that, and you can give us the first answer that pops into your head. So,
oh God, I'm so scared.
Don't be scared. Oh my God, it's super easy.
Games I freeze. Okay, go.
Okay, number one. Cocktail, neat or on the rocks?
I don't drink.
Great. Kevin?
I'm on the rocks. On the rocks.
Frozen.
Frozen.
I made up my own.
That tracks.
Ginger ale on the rocks.
Yes, there you go.
Ginger ale on the rocks.
Ginger ale's my favorite too.
I go neat too, but if it's the summertime, I'll go on the rocks. Okay, here's another one. Number two. Would you rather read the book or listen to the book on tape?
Listen to the book on tape.
Same.
Listen.
Oh, I just recently got into that, but I prefer to read the book, I think. Number three, TV show or a movie?
Oh, that is impossible to answer.
Sorry.
That is a hard one. I didn't read these.
Because right now, TV is nailing it. series are nailing it right now.
My answer is TV show. It's
Yes.
TV for me. Yeah.
TV.
Right now,
It's less of a commitment.
right now, it's TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just think like I'm the type of person, especially during quarantine, like I went back and started Baywatch from the beginning from 1989.
The original Baywatch?
The
David
original
Hasselhoff
David
Baywatch?
Hasselhoff Baywatch.
That.
Baywatch.
I love that was your show of choice. Good. for
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mikey,
It just
edit
like
that
popped
out.
up on Hulu, and I was like, oh,
No,
this
that's
is
Edit
great.
that
staying
out. I don't
in.
want Raponi to have that on
No.
the save. No.
Permanent record. It is staying in.
I
Kevin
watch
Raponi.
really heavy drama. It has to kill me, make me cry.
Yeah.
So you're like are you like an Ozark girl? Like
I'm
Ooh, I do know.
yes.
I liked Ozark.
I'm obsessed with horror films and thrillers, and also really intense documentaries.
I'm watching the Epstein documentary right now.
Oh, brutal, devastating, terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The Khalif Browder documentary changed my life.
Oh God, crazy. All right,
Yeah.
sorry, we're going. I'm sorry, Mike.
Sorry,
I'm
off
sorry.
topic.
Okay. On a lighter note, would you rather do laundry or do the dishes?
Dishes.
Same.
Dishes.
Me too. Yeah, that's a good one, Kev.
I find the dishes therapeutic.
Yep. Same.
Oh,
I hate both, but if I
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I hate both, but I'd rather do dishes because it's faster.
Yeah.
Would you rather work alone or work with a team?
team.
Team.
Me too, team. Camping or a beach? I guess camping in the mountains or beach.
Yeah, like camping in like the woods.
I'm afraid of the ocean, but my will is to run. I ran in a couple years ago and it didn't go so well, so I want to try it again. So I would say beach.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a beach boy
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I don't
Me
love
too.
the ocean either.
Right?
Why don't you love the
Besties.
ocean?
yeah.
Because
Wait,
I
why?
just don't understand why.
It's very
I'm all up-
intimidating, but
Well, I'm all up in someone's house causing a ruckus. And then you wonder why. This is so true. But this is my thought process. There's all of these amazing sea creatures, and that's their home. And then I'm all up in there making all this noise. And then you wonder why they bite us.
I mean, it's true. It's kind of like
There's
what they
that, and then it's like it's the vastness of it where I'm floating and I can't run is very scary to me. The
don't
idea
think
of resistance in front of me and I can't run is very scary to me.
I've never told anyone that because I feel like I sound like a crazy person. I've literally never told anyone except for my ex-husband that I hate the ocean. So
I can sit by it. I walk. I love it. It's beautiful. But when I go in and I can't bask in it, it's so the unknown underneath me scares me.
yeah, the vastness of it.
I think that's
I get
totally
that.
valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's weird at all.
sorry, I
Thank you,
keep
Calvin.
sidetracking, Mikey. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's good. It's good. Okay. A couple more here. Cups in the cabinet, upside down or right side up? Like mouth side down or mouth side up?
Oh, they're just disorganized. I mean, it's down, up, corner,
There's
side.
no order.
It's funny. I wrote that one because me and my roommates put them right side up, and I've always been taught to put them down because dust goes inside the cup.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that's-
Same.
So I always argue with them. I'm like, stop putting them.
I just rinse the cup out before I use it, which
Well, that
maybe
too,
that's a
but
waste
still.
of water. But would you rather listen to music or a podcast while you're working out?
Music.
Kevin, Ellyn,
Music.
Podcast.
duh, the Pod De Deux podcast.
I mean podcast.
No, I would never listen.
I will
to
listen. I wouldn't
podcast
listen
while
to
I'm working
this
out.
while I'm working out. No.
I need motivation because I do really I do really difficult workouts. So I need to like
Yeah, we need the
Music.
like clubhouse
Totally.
beats.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Two more. Would you rather sit and watch the sun rise or watch the sunset?
Set.
Yes, same.
Set.
I'm not a morning
too.
person.
Yeah.
I love a beautiful sunrise, but the sunset is where it's
The
at. I think.
sunset is always
All right.
just-
Last one. I love this one, Kevin. This one's so good. Would you rather be rich and bored or poor and exhausted?
I mean, both, but
Yeah.
Poor and exhausted.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
literally
that's
my
pretty
life story.
much what I am.
We're all poor and exhausted.
That's
just-
really hard. That's very tricky, sir.
It
No,
is.
that was a really good one, Kevin. It is because, I mean, it is what most of our lives are.
Yeah,
But
and I think struggle brings will
Creativity.
and imagination and
Will.
creativity and
yeah,
And I
that was a
think
really good one,
I
Kevin.
think from the poor and exhausted will bring the rich. Because once you exhaust yourself and you work, because when you're rich, you could be lazy, you already have the money.
Mhm.
So when
Yeah,
you're
but
poor and
rich and bored,
exhausted,
I mean, why are you bored? You have access to everything.
you could get a boat. Why are you bored?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could save the world. Why are you
But
bored?
not put it on the ocean because that's just terrifying.
Right.
All right, we're going to
Exactly.
take a quick break. We'll be right back with
Okay.
more from Sonya, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey listeners, it's Clara here.
And it is Michael.
Choreographers, raise your hand if you could use more time, space, and money to create your work.
Oh my, it's like every hand in the city just went up. Like what? 1, 2 million hands?
All of them, and we can
All
see
of
them
them.
all from
And
our tiny
fingers, too.
windowless recording studio. All the fingers.
Okay, maybe not.
We all know the answer is all of you.
So, enter the CUNY Dance Initiative, or CDI. CDI is a residency program that opens the doors of City University of New York campuses to professional choreographers across New York City's 5 boroughs. They can offer you free space to create, teach, and perform, as well as financial support.
CDI has already helped over 130 local artists launch new work, develop new audiences, and establish new relationships with NYC performing arts centers.
And you know what? You could be next.
Actually, Michael, we've interviewed a ton of CDI resident choreographers over the years, I think during your tenure and before. And I will say they're just always such innovators in the dance community, and they're a really diverse collection of artists.
Yeah, so many incredible choreographers. You and I had the chance to talk with Tiffany Mills last year. We'll never, of course, forget Jess's awesome interview with 2019 Bessie Award winner, tap dancer Caleb Teicher.
And a while ago, we talked to Efrata Sherry, who's a B-girl and a house dancer. We talked to Annabella Lanzu, Benny Royce Royan. We even got to interview the director of CUNY Dance Initiative, Alyssa Alpine.
And you can find all of those interviews and more at podde.com, as well as Podde on iTunes. Now, missing this once-a-year application to be a CDI resident is heartbreaking. So do not let it happen to you. Make sure you jump over to the website, cuny.edu/dance initiative, and join their email list. And check out the homepage for application alerts, insider ticket discounts, and so much more. And if you just love dance, make sure you follow at CDI_dance on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay.
Back to the pod.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Really? Okay, go. Okay.
All right, hit it.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to the Pod De Deux Podcast. It is time to play a little Broadway trivia. Now, if you've been following along this season, you know that Ellyn Marie Marsh has been setting Kevin and me up to lose the entire time. So,
Atta girl.
at least that's my suspect. Yeah. So this week in our season finale of Pod De Deux Women of Broadway series, I am hosting. So, everybody ready?
Okay.
Look at you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah. Well, and I should say that also I should check. Ellyn, are you still hosting Broadway trivia? Is that still a
Oh,
thing?
yeah. Thursday
Okay.
nights on Theater Mania.
Good. Make sure you check that out. You
Yeah.
can check that out on Theater Mania. All right. Quick review of the game. I'll ask each team a question. Ellyn and Kevin will play against Sonya. After your question, you get a few seconds to come up with the answer. If you don't know, the other team can steal. First to 3 points wins. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. We'll start with
Okay.
Sonya. Question 1. This one should be a pretty easy one. Which 2020 Broadway podcast co-host also claims the title of Mr. Dance Explosion 1993 with a sign over his dressing room station?
Cabby Cab.
Ah, that's correct.
First of all, it's 2003.
Oh, sorry.
93, I was 5. So, no, you're the worst. Also, I hate you.
Sorry, 2003.
Oh, legendary.
Oh my
Legendary.
God.
I aged you a
Kevin.
decade, Kev.
You did. I'm not
Oh.
43. Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Well,
God. That was
Sorry.
You're
Okay,
Incredible.
correct. Okay, question to Kevin and Ellyn.
Yes.
Which 2020 Broadway choreographer was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for her work choreographing pieces like Possibly Maybe, Turning Page, and Sail on Fox's So You Think You Can Dance?
Sonya Tayeh.
Sonya
Sonya
how,
Tayeh.
yeah, how does
It's Sonya Tayeh.
We were talking about
Keep
this
saying
before
it,
the
so
show
maybe
started.
people will start to say it correctly again.
Yeah, that's
Well, no,
right.
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
Yes.
Just say
Wait,
it like
when we
Cat Dealey.
When we were talking about how to pronounce it, they were like, it's Sonya Tayeh. I go, you guys, Kat Deely said Sonya Tayeh. Like,
And she knows.
She knows.
Oh man.
Okay. Question number 2 for Sonya. Which Broadway veteran, podcast co-host, and British dialect enthusiast also created the online hilarious television series Gallery View?
Ellyn.
That's right.
Who's
Ellyn.
nailing it? I'm
Who is
nailing it.
nailing it?
oh,
British dialect enthusiast.
British dialect.
Oh God, I just lost my page. Okay. That is correct. So
Thank you.
now question number 2 for Kevin and Ellyn. Which 2020 Broadway choreographer also set the choreography to the Romeo and Juliet inspired Jeff Buckley musical, The Last Goodbye?
Oh, that was, oh my gosh.
I know,
Those
right?
pictures with James Brown and Jeremy Woodard. I mean, oh my
Jeremy
God.
Woodard.
Beautiful.
I didn't see it,
Woodard.
but I saw those press shots. They were amazing. I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
Sonya Tayeh.
Yeah, that would be
Sonya
absolutely
Tayeh.
100% correct. Yeah. Sonya Tayeh. Okay, that was correct.
That press shot, though, do you know which one I'm talking about?
With the swords. I know
Oh.
exactly what you're talking about.
I can see it in my head right now. It's
Me too.
beautiful.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so we're tied 2-2. So this is the final question. Now everyone has put up a valiant effort. So this is our sudden death question. Whoever wins this wins the whole thing. So question for everybody. First to answer wins. Who are the best co-hosts and guest for a season finale episode a guy who hosts the Pod De Deux podcast could ever ask for?
Ellyn, Sonya, Kevin.
Ellyn, Kevin, Michael, and Sonya.
Everybody wins! Yay! Oh my God, you guys.
No,
That was
we got
definitely my favorite trivia.
Sonya over her fear of playing games, I think.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
job.
'cause she got it up.
I'm sweating. I'm schwitzing everywhere.
I'm sweating too. I'm nailing it.
Oh, I'm really-
Oh, that was fun. So, jumping back into the interview, Kev, do you want to
I
kick us
do.
back
I
off?
wanna.
Yeah.
I wanna know because I'm a dreamer. I choreograph for dance studios currently, but someday I would love to be Sonya Tayeh.
Kevin's
So-
also our fierce, incredible swing at Rock of Ages. He's incredible.
It's a dream. This year, 2019 was a dream. Bringing it back though, your dreams. Take me back to the beginning. How did you decide that this was it, that you had this gift and that you wanted to risk it all and be an artist and be a choreographer?
Ooh. That's hard. But also an incredible question. Thank you for letting me go back in time. I always loved dancing. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, where the underground dance scene was hot and heavy when I was younger. And my sisters would take me to these underground dance parties. They were called raves, but when I was there, they were called underground dance parties. And it was, Detroit has so much history, and also a lot was broken at that time when I lived there and grew up there. And they would have these communities of artists would come together, and just these parties would be about exploring music and exploring dance. And I remember one time I was in my 20s. My career didn't start moving until I was 31, because I needed time and took time to really study, because my mother always taught me, if you're going to do it, make sure you know where it came from and where it's going. So I did a lot of studying. But I remember one moment when a friend of mine was DJing and I was moving and I felt like I was levitating. I felt like a cosmic shift. And I turned around and I saw everybody moving, and I remember vividly in my mind going, I want to make this. I want to make this, and I want people to feel what I'm feeling, being in a room creating dance. And this epic realization and revelation came, and also terror came, because dance is my biggest heartbreak. It gets me all stuttery. My biggest heartbreak and my biggest love, my greatest love. It tortures me and it eases me all at the same time. So when I knew I wanted to do that, I went to school for dance. I went to college for dance. I didn't know how to dance. And I knew how to move my body, but in terms of the technical foundation, I had incredible professors and friends that were in the dance company at Wayne State University that literally carried me through it. But I knew immediately that I never wanted to perform, that I wanted to make dances. So after I graduated from Wayne State at 26, I locked myself in a studio in San Francisco for 4 years. I moved to LA. I'm giving you the fast version, sorry. At 30, you need an agent when you move to Los Angeles, or you can't function at that time. I'm 43 now. I was 30 when I moved there. I was like, how do I do this? Nobody knows me. So I decided to rent a theater and hire all of my friends who I love. And mind you, most of them come from studios. So just to say, working at studios is staring at the future. And there's incredible performing arts schools and studios all around the world. And that's how that was a huge step in the ladder of my dance life. So I hired them. They all slept in my living room for 8 weeks. We rehearsed every day, and I got studio space donated to me. I rented the theater, and I made like 13 pieces of what could be. I just felt like concert dance and commercial dance could fuse together. And I also just wanted to express so badly and get people to know me. So, and that was the time where you print out flyers and you pass them out and you put them on the windshields. And we were everywhere passing out flyers and praying people would come, expecting no one to come. And it was a sold out weekend. I saved a row for agents. And I made pieces that could be a Gap commercial, could be an iPad commercial, could be for Madonna, could be for so-and-so. And I created these pieces. Just so happened the agent that I wanted to sign me was there. They signed me. And 3 months later, I got So You Think You Can Dance, and my world changed.
That is
I have chills. Look at my arm right now. I literally have chills. I just want to go back. Oh my God. Look at me. I can't. I think what's so important for our listeners to hear is that you didn't start dancing at the age of 3. You didn't.
I had little peppers of like basement ballet classes once in a while, but it wasn't something that we could afford. But my mother had me perform dances in my basement, and she was the audience clapping and buying me books from garage sales of Martha and Twyla, and it was just inside of my cells. Figure it out, make it work, figure it out.
But your fundamental training came from the social dance scene, which is,
yes.
I mean, your formal training came, but you found dance through social dance.
Absolutely, and that's the fundamental passion of social dancing could change your life. And
wow.
It changed my life because I was able to tap into how I move, not right away the structure of movement, no judgment, just what the theory of my own life is. I was able to move around and understand my body and be good with my body and be good with my tightness, my learning disability. I have a comprehension disability, so it takes me a long time to memorize and to sequence, and there's pauses in there. So I was able to grow into my 20s, honor what people may consider limitations, and I utilize them as strengths, and I put them all inside my process.
Wow. I did not, I remember your very first piece from So You Think You Can Dance. I remember that story is so inspiring to people who think that you have to be dancing from the time you're 3 and that you can't find your passion. Isn't that horrible to say later in life, as if college is later in life? It's not later in life.
But also the part where the body, I only have a certain amount of years to dance. Again, my references. Martha Graham was dancing into her 90s. Twyla Tharp is 70-something now. I just saw her perform and dance her ass off. Sorry, I swore. I'm very passionate.
No FCC regulations here.
Getting tossed around in her 70s at the Joyce. So I'm not stopping till they bury me.
Wow.
And I mean, and the same thing goes for like a Paula Abdul, who just like made another commercial about arthritis medication, and she's dancing better than she did in her music video.
Yeah, all that is just fodder for
I agree.
defeat. It's just it's whack and it's not true. That's how I feel.
Wow.
I agree.
That's how I feel.
As if I couldn't love you more. Okay, great. Let's So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I remember your piece, the very first piece. I was like, who is this badass?
Yeah.
It was such an important step in your career. It brought you 2 Primetime Emmy nominations for choreography. What was that show like, and what was it like hearing your voice, hearing your name called for those Emmys? And just tell us what that show meant to you, either at the time or even, I mean, I told Raponi and Mikey last night, I went down a K-hole last night. I was like, I feel like it's 10 years ago. I'm just, but tell us about it.
It completely changed my life. And the one main thing I cherish are the relationships I have from that show. Jeff Thacker is a dear friend of mine. He's a main producer on the show, and he is remarkable. So many dancers that we all love, that we all know and love, choreographers, and watching all of them soar and make huge strides in their careers as well. It was such an incredible experience and shifted my life. But I also have to say, I was the misfit weird one. And which I mean, I'm good with that.
It works.
You're doing great.
Yeah, the aggressive way women would dance in it and all of this garbage that I would hear around. I say that to say it really gave me even more push to really hold on to myself. I don't think I would have been able, just for me, to do that show at 25. When I was 31 and I'm still searching for a sense of myself. I constantly will, but I wouldn't have been able to handle the pressure, the criticism, the accolades, the attention, if I didn't do it, if I didn't have a hold on myself. The root of what's so beautiful about it and why I did it, anytime I can give dance, the art of dance, to the world who probably would never see it, is a true gift. Mm-hmm. For example, I can't sleep. I go to 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. often when I lived in Los Angeles. I would walk to 7-Eleven and there would be a truck driver starting his evening ride. And I would be walking into the 7-Eleven. He would walk out of the truck and he said, "Sonya." And I said, "Yes." This truck driver.
Yeah.
And said, "Your pieces really move me." And I watch dance with my son and my daughter, and we love it. Thank you. And I'm like,
boom.
That's where I know I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
Because it's all about access. Say what you will about the logistics behind the show, all the things. The focus is that we gave the world a chance to see how dance can change the world, change your mind, shift your perspective, and can be loved by all. And that was what I take from it and what I'll never forget.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. That's what that show
It
did.
did.
It brought the everyman,
Yes.
our passion that we have had our whole life, but a truck driver or a school teacher or somebody who doesn't have access to that.
Just people you wouldn't expect to love dance, not a judgment, just people, just
Exactly.
the world. That's where I come from, the grittier side of the world that just doesn't always have the access. It's all about access, because then what happens? You have less fear. It's less far from you. You're able to embody it and embrace it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because it's responsible for so much of the growth of what's happening now in show business, specifically in theater, not just because you and many of your So You Think You Can Dance choreography contemporaries are choreographing on Broadway right now, but the fact that you've seen this wave, like what Ellyn was saying, you know, of people who had no idea that this was something that they loved, that now have this appreciation, are buying tickets to see Broadway shows, or buying tickets to see tours coming through their town. It's just really opened it up. That and Glee, you know, it's like those two things have really just expanded this world to people who had no idea. And it's so amazing that you got to be in on the ground floor of that. And
thank you. I'm in awe of it. I'm in awe.
I also want to, speaking of Fox, speaking of television, you choreographed Rent Live, which was something that was, for me personally, I was a Rent head in high school. I mean, not a crazy Rent head, but it was the first musical that I really sort of understood when I was growing up. You know, I liked classical musical theater, but Rent was the first time that I ever heard something that spoke to me as a young performer. So when Rent Live happened, I was really, really excited about it. So the show obviously means so much to so many different people, and you got to choreograph alongside Michael Greif, who was the original Broadway director of the show, which is very cool. So obviously the big thing that happened was the live broadcast. And when Brennan Hunt broke his foot in the dress rehearsal, I'm just curious, like, what was that? What was the inside experience on that? Like, obviously you guys used the footage of the dress rehearsal, and then you did the live last 10 minutes, the finale B, all of that. But what was it like for you to have to sort of deal with that in the moment and re-choreograph that ending?
The whole entire process, I had, no matter what, you feel Jonathan's spirit everywhere. Everywhere. And his incredible sister is there, his father is there, his nephews are there, his friends are there. There are pictures of his life plastered all over the tents, everywhere. You're just consumed with his desire to make a show about real humans and strife and passion and acceptance in all. That alone is a huge, the minute I heard it was happening, I just met Michael. The night before I heard it was happening, I was like, wait, serendipity, wait. I called my agent. I was like, they're doing that live. And I've been asked to do some of these live shows before, and I couldn't do them. And I was like, this is the one I'm supposed to do. This is the one I'm supposed to do. This makes complete sense. I called my agent. I was like, please ask Michael, does he have a choreographer? And he called and said the same thing. We just met. I think this is serendipity. Let's do this together. And I was so happy. I'm outside. I'm watching the dress rehearsal. The process was incredible. I got to cast the ensemble. I loved every single person in the company working their tail off. Everyone. Tears and tears beyond. Just by the content, the sheer desire and the content of the work, of the piece Rent. I'm outside watching the monitor, and I'm truly, this is real. I say out loud, oh my goodness, I cannot wait for the world to see this. I'm so I see people running out of the door, and I'm thinking, please God, oh God, ambulance, running behind me. So just in front of me, behind me, and I have to stand for a second and collect myself because I'll panic. So I was like, taking a breath. I walk over to the stage manager. What happened? Brendan what? Brendan fell. I run backstage. He's just exiting. He was just exiting after a song, walking down the stairs. He's done it a million times. Lost his footing, landed on his heel, broke his foot. Didn't know it was broken. I run over there. We're all over there. He's white, face staring, going, please God, please God, please God, please God, please let everything be okay. And I'm looking at him, and Michael's there, and I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's not broken. Everything's going to be fine. It's a sprain. It's a sprain. You're going to be fine. Just trying to calm him. And I said, it's going to be okay. So then they take him away. We're sitting in the boardroom, and we're just shocked. The producers, Michael, were just sitting at the table, frozen. And a couple hours later, so we're navigating, okay, here's plan A through 1,000. Then we got the call, and that he broke his foot. And I was crying and crying and crying. And then I thought, interesting, not the same, but when they opened,
yeah,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
What is that? And I kept asking myself, what is this? What am I learning? What are we learning?
Yep. And
I surrendered. And I circled everybody up, and we were crying and weeping. And I said, this is the root, and this is the root of what is so beautiful about a process, and why you should be so present in a process, because I will never forget that process. What I'm infuriated about, I don't read reviews, because they hurt me when they're awesome and they hurt me when they're bad. And I just for me, I have to be good with myself. You know what I mean? And so that we do the show, and we say we did the dress rehearsal live. There was an audience. We did a live dress rehearsal. But because it was so intertwined, there was so much dance and so much movement that Brendan had to do, we couldn't show it. So we wanted to show what we could, because near the end, because he was sitting down. And then we decided to do a concert version of it because of how much theatricality was inside of it, that we wouldn't be able to give justice by doing parts of it. And we had less than 24 hours, you realize. It was late. We didn't know until like 3 a.m, I think, or maybe later, that he broke it. And we had to be back up at 10 or 9. So then that happens. I fly home. I'm gutted. And I promised myself, hold on to the process. Thank you, Jonathan. I kissed the ground. I kissed the table. I just did everything. And I get home, and I'm gutted, and I have to go to rehearsal that morning. So I'm walking to the train. I sit down, and I hear crunch, crunch, crunch on my bum. And I look down, and I see the terrible review of Rent on my butt. There was a newspaper. The newspaper was I'm not exaggerating. The newspaper was on the bench, and I sit down, and I'm like, huge picture, you know, how it wasn't, the scanning was the fastest I ever scanned, because I couldn't put it together that I was seeing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was over. And I just thought, wow, this is what they want to remember.
Yeah.
This is what they want to remember. Again, another moment where the world who may have not access, who may have a queer kid, who may have an other in their home, could sit and watch with them this amazing show. And that's what we're going to remember. It really, really, really got me. And it was brutal. And then some people in my community, it really hurt me. I would get, congratulations.
Ah, no.
And squinty eyes. And I'm just trying to give you the truth, y'all. But that's what happened. And it was really, really hard to come back from that. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Because it all comes down to the work and the story. I understand. No, I don't. I don't understand what the,
no.
I wish that in these types of experiences, that there could be a lot of behind the scenes being filmed. So you could have seen what we were trying to do, and you could have seen how devastated Brendan was. Yeah. And how much we were trying to hold on to the integrity of what we made. The integrity of what we made would not have been. And I was telling my friends, I was just devastated on the plane. I couldn't shake it off. I was like grateful to be able to touch that piece, but also devastated that this was going to be blanketed over the true meaning of this show. Yeah. That was going to be the dark cloud over it, that it wasn't live. This kind of live, and the sound was bad and the editing was weird. I'm like, you realize it was the dress rehearsal. Yeah. After the dress rehearsal, you take notes and revise all of that. The sound wasn't set. Yeah. We were still working with I was still taking notes and working. We were supposed to have rehearsal all day before the live performance. Right. But suddenly in this theatrical world, people forget that. Yeah. Suddenly people don't know what it means when someone injures themselves. Do you know what I mean? Suddenly you're not as aware as you usually are. Would you be saying this if you were in this experience? Yes. Sorry, I get really heated about it because I really, really love it.
I love it.
I mean, that's so smart, because like you know, as a theater person, I think maybe Ellyn and Mikey can agree that like, I knew it was the dress rehearsal. Yep. I've been in dress rehearsals. I've been in tech. I know that. And I'm not going to
say, that we say like, bad dress rehearsal, great opening.
Great show.
It wasn't a bad dress rehearsal.
It wasn't bad.
And it wasn't. And I said, when we were doing it, I said, they're on fire today.
Yes.
Yeah. We said to them, and we were going back and forth, should we pace it out and tell the audience like 60, you're going to see 60% today? And the producers were like, no, just in case we need to take some of this. Yeah. Or who knows, let's go full, because they were tired. You know what I mean? And it was a long day. And they were like, no, we want to do it. And I was like, okay, let's go. So there was monitors, cameras, different costumes, different colors to try. There was all of this stuff, and none of that was acknowledged, you know?
I'm sorry, Brandon Victor Dixon's I'll Cover You reprise.
Oh, God.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that's already, your choreography. What is the piece that take me? What's the piece called? Is it Contact?
Contact.
Yeah. But that piece, I watched that piece. I watched that 20 times with all those Fred and Morgan. Oh my God. And then into I'll Cover You Are you kidding me with that?
Yeah, he's a force.
He is.
And to feel that, I remember when they were doing it one time, it was cloudy outside, and I walked out for a second during that moment. One of the times he sang it, then I heard it from outside of the door when it was sprinkling, and I just let the water fall down on me while I was hearing it, and I just kept saying, "Thank you, Jonathan."
Yeah. Thank you for that story, and just for being vulnerable with us and telling us your truth. And it is, and we are theater nerds, and I was a Rent head too, and I had this whole thing on my Instagram about how excited I was for Rent. I'm just a nerd through and through. and like, Kale is one of my dear friends, and I was like, do y'all realize, like, it was so unfortunate the way it panned out, but I was like, this is theater. the show
Must
goes
go on.
on.
Absolutely.
And we still do it. And the fact that people poo-pooed it, I'm like, you know what? Like, that's not what this is about.
But ultimately,
story-
though, yeah, no. So I was just going to say, ultimately, though, don't you think the legacy of what this is going to be is what you're talking about right now, Sonya? The fact that it's not going to be about the stupid reviews that came out. I mean, and that's stupid because that's going to be in the papers and whatever. But ultimately, what people remember about this are going to be the magic of theater and what you were just talking about, what you all learned and experienced from this, and how the cast surrounded and took the message of Rent and shared that in real time live on television.
I'm completely with you. I completely agree. That paper
that is so crazy.
Story is just and it was the first time I've ever like felt the umbrella. I felt the dark cloud. Does that make sense? I can really separate. I really have to. I won't survive this industry if I focus on being validated by reviews. They are what they are. I can't deny them. But the one thing I can control is myself and how I respond. But the ether feeling of it was just really traumatizing for me. But in the end, now I truly believe that will never go. Jonathan's legacy will never dim, and that show will every queer little person, in the world that watches that show will feel validated.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. You're such a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to mansplain or hijack what you were saying, Ellyn. I just wanted to say that.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Stop, man.
I feel like I do that sometimes. I don't mean to.
We're gonna give you one last question before we let you get on with your day. We're just so grateful you're here, and you're such a great storyteller. We're hanging on your every word here. So this podcast has obviously been very important to me, being a female in this industry, being, a woman who's constantly supporting women, and you and all these. I hope you can take some time to listen to these other women that you are with are so different and so incredible. And I'm so sad this is our last episode, so I'm getting like all emotional that we're ending with you. But just looking at this season of Broadway and what it is like to be with these other, these 9 incredible women, and just what that means, to our community, to our next generation, to the young women who are looking to you, and who are inspired by you. What does that mean to you? And then moreover, the second part of the question, with the progression that comes from the racial justice movements that we've been experiencing during this time, how does Broadway and the dance world in general just sort of move forward and keep taking steps forward in your eyes?
Okay, I am full sweat. You guys got me going up in here this afternoon. In terms of conversations, I think the system is broken because we're too afraid to ask the questions. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Read, study, and allow yourself to, I think because of the careful approach to conversation that has created unnecessary patterns that separate people. Does that make sense?
Unnecessary patterns. I love that.
They're just unnecessary because people are so afraid of saying the wrong thing. And I think it's all about asking the tough questions, not saying the wrong things, asking the tough questions. I come from learning a lot later, and I think that's why I'm not afraid of asking tough questions. I also am a Palestinian, Lebanese, queer, Arab, Muslim woman. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I have a lot to say and a lot to feel, and I feel so seen and comforted as a brown person when we just have conversations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Open dialogue. Let's break it down because we are all from completely different worlds. And we all have parents that are from completely different worlds. So how can we shift those patterns that may have been a little too closed and or not open enough or willing enough to see other or see different or just see? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just see. And I really truly believe that we all want, the common ground we all want is to be seen and heard. Is to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
And I think it is just the dance and theater community have to lead with that. Lead with fearlessness as much as you can. Lead with openness as much as you can. And let's break these unnecessary patterns down while we take a breath, while we try not to get hostile with each other, while we try not to pass judgment on the response or on the question. Does that make sense? That we
Yes. We were just talking about this the other day. Yes.
You don't have to be politically sound to want peace for everyone. You don't have to be politically intellectual. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I when I get nervous, I ask, does that make sense 1,000 times? So my apologies, but you don't have to be politically intellectual and hyper knowledgeable to want acceptance for everyone.
Yeah.
Period. We are all alive, and that is our duty as human beings who are all alive, to be alive to the fullest, because we're all ending the same way.
Yep. Yeah.
That's how I feel. In terms of moving on to the ladies, moving on to the 9 incredible women, I say to you, to be in a part of that row with you is unbelievably remarkable and a huge honor. All of you are a gift. All of you push me and inspire me and drive me and give me so much fire. I am so proud to be a part of this community. And I know that those shows will be back.
Yeah.
I know they will be, and they will be alive and well. And I daydream about sitting in a row with all of them.
Can you imagine?
Hands,
Yes.
holding hands and rising up together. It is that dramatic, yes.
Yes.
It is that big, yes, because it is a travesty that this is the first time. It is a travesty that we have to work so hard to be in a room. It is a travesty that a lot of my experiences in a room are me standing and talking so I can be heard, not sitting and talking. I literally stand in a room so they can hear my voice.
Right.
So let's keep standing. Let's honor each other as women and respect each other together. And when those shows come up, when the world opens, I will be there crying, weeping, cheering, screaming louder than this. Right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud. This is like, Tony's this is the most important, to know that I was part of this moment.
Yep.
Is a revolution.
It is. We just got to
Speaking of
keep
Tony,
going.
that was like a Tony speech. That was
Yes, I can't wait for your
It's like-
Tony speech.
You heard it here.
We heard it first here on Pod De Deux.
That's right.
Fun.
Sorry,
Oh
no,
my
it's
God.
intense, but this is real. It really comes from a true place. It really
Yeah.
does, because all of those little Arab queer girls, I'm right here.
Yes.
It's totally possible. It's completely possible. You may have hurdles, but you can jump them.
Yeah.
Break them down, build them up, jump them, and repeat. Rinse and
Nice
repeat.
clean jeté right over the hurdles. Give yourself a
Like,
glissade,
that's
jeté over it.
Over. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Sonya, you are just absolutely incredible. Thank you for being so vulnerable and such a good storyteller, like Ellyn was saying. I mean, this was just, what an incredible way, you guys, for us to sort of wrap up this season. It was just absolutely inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Congratulations to all of you as well. I'm honored to be the last.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we're
for
honored. We're
agreeing to
honored.
be here and taking the time out of your day to do it. So yeah, you guys, that's it for Pod De Deux.
Sonya
Not for Pod De
Tayeh!
Deux, for the Women of Broadway miniseries. I'm just like this was
I
so
know, I'm so
soothing
emotional. I'm
conversation.
emotional because of you. I'm emotional because of your
Yeah.
stories. I'm emotional that it's the end. I'm emotional that we can't.
Well,
we
we'll
gotta
do
wait
more of
another
these.
year.
We'll do more. We'll do more. We'll find
We
it.
will do more. We will
Yeah.
do more. When we're back up and running, we'll
That's
hopefully you'll be super busy, but we'll try to snag you again to.
Oh, please do. Please. I would love it. I would love it. This was so much fun.
So
Same.
much fun. So for you out there listening, make sure you stay tuned to Pod De Deux. We've got, as we were just talking about, a fantastic upcoming couple series focusing on racial justice. And you're going to be hearing from a lot of incredible people, some very diverse voices, and how this racial justice movement that we've all been living through is affecting the dance world. You can find Pod De Deux everywhere that you listen to podcasts. We're on iTunes. And if you do listen through Apple Podcasts, please subscribe. We're also on Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher. And of course, you can always find the latest episode of Pod De Deux at poddedeux.com. Make sure you follow us, the show, on Twitter and Instagram at Pod De Deux. And you can also find us on Facebook. You can watch the show on Facebook and on our YouTube page. And also, make sure you follow Sonya. Oh, no, that's okay. That was awesome. No, that's okay. It's probably because you have to go because we've kept.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm so
Make sure
sorry.
you follow. No, it's okay. Make sure you follow Sonya on Twitter and Instagram at Sonya Tayeh, and make sure you follow us. You can follow me. You can keep up with me by checking out my dance blog, New York City Dance News and Culture, which is nycdancenews.com. I am on Twitter and Instagram at Michael Mahaney. Ellyn.
I'm Ellyn Marsh. Just on everything you can find me. Whatever. I'm talking loud and squawking about something. Whatever.
Kev.
And I'm at Raponi on Instagram.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Pod De Deux podcast, created by our wonderful friends Clara Peterson and Jessica Williams. Thank you, Kevin and Ellyn, for being such champions of dance and being here this season on this miniseries. Thank you to the listeners. And we'll see you very soon on the Pod De Deux podcast. Thank you for joining on this little mini experience celebrating the amazing, incredible women who made Broadway move this year. We will see you next time. I am Michael Mahaney. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you